Time to re-up YouTube. Your boy Mustard is back with another video, and we are at number 2 of the season preview, the Golden State Warriors, the current reigning defending NBA champions. I have to say, man, when it comes to the Warriors, this dynasty is nothing short of spectacular. This is a team that has found new ways to evolve and adapt to the NBA while keeping their core of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson intact. And in today's video, following their championship win last season, we asked the question, can the Warriors go back to back? Now, it may seem weird for me to ask that considering that they have gone back to back in the past, but that was with Kevin Durant. With this new core, it's yet to be seen if they can do so. Steph, Klay, and Draymond are proven champions with 4 rings to their resume. But in the case of players like Jordan Poole, James Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, Andrew Wiggins, and the rest of the supporting cast, it's yet to be seen if they have what it takes to pull it off again. But let's see what this supporting cast is made of, because they did make a lot of key additions and certain young guys are gonna have to step up this year. As far as pickups go in the offseason, JaMychal Green and Dante DiVincenzo were really solid ones. I consider them more so a low risk, high reward player if it works out for them. JaMychal can space the floor and defend a little bit, but in the case of Dante, he wasn't too great with the Bucks when last played, and with the Kings he wasn't that much better, but in a lesser role with the Warriors, maybe they can just breathe some life into him. The Warriors do have a tendency to do that. But now let's talk about the Warriors young guys, because this is something that I'm really looking forward to this season. Due to great development, nice scouting, and a little bit of luck, the Warriors have one of the best young cores in the NBA. And it truly goes under the radar because all we talk about is Jordan Poole out of that young core. But over the last 2 to 3 seasons, they've stockpiled on a lot of young talent. Players like Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and don't forget 2nd overall pick from a couple of years ago, James Wiseman. Let's talk about the latter first before we talk about the former James Wiseman. If Wiseman can just be 80% of what the Warriors need, that's a good thing. All they need is for somebody to set screens, catch lobs, get boards, defend the rim. That's all. If he can just be an athletic Kevon Looney, which is kind of a big ask considering how good Looney was in the playoffs last year, but if he can just do that, he'll be fine. I don't know if Wiseman will ever reach star potential in this league, but an okay starter on the Warriors is not that bad at all. Now, in the case of their other 2 wings, Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, I can't lie, I really love those 2 on this team. Kuminga is an athletic wing with so much raw talent. You saw it last year in flashes, and if you watched him in the G League, you saw it as well. Kuminga is a 6'8" wing with a 7-foot wingspan and is super athletic, can jump out the gym. The bounce he has when he drives to the rim is a thing of beauty, and because of his size and ability to put the ball on the floor, it opens up so many different ways that he can impact the team, because defensively he's shown promise on that side of the ball, and even though offensively he needs some more growth as a shooter and shot creator, he's not going to be asked to do that on this team, obviously. I'd imagine even though he'll have more minutes than he did last year, they're more so going to use him in spots and moments rather than just consistent minutes every single game. In the case of Moody though, I think he has similar things to Kuminga, but I look at him more as like a 3-and-D prototype in this league. Moody isn't as athletic as Jonathan Kuminga or has the frame of Jonathan Kuminga, but he can shoot the 3-ball and his defense is there. I don't think Moody has the potential of a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, primarily due to their size difference, but if I had to make a bet on who I believe is going to reach their potential between Moody and Kuminga, especially on this team, I would bet on Moody. A 3-and-D player fits perfectly in this system. If he just moves without the ball consistently and can dribble just a little bit, then just put him in the Klay Thompson role and he'll be fine. Now, of course, we can't talk about the young guys on this roster and not bring up Jordan Poole. Man, when you talk about the best young talents in the league, Jordan Poole is among the top of that list. Not saying he's the best, but he's in the conversation of the better ones. Poole is a very crafty scorer with multiple dribble combinations, can beat players off the dribble in a multitude of different ways. I mean, you guys have seen it. This guy is flashy, but he gets the job done efficiently and nice. One word that I use to describe him is just smooth. The man is smooth with everything he does on that basketball court. As a scorer, he can shoot it from behind the arc, the mid-range as well. He's a nice finisher, and as a passer, he's developed a lot over the last couple of seasons, especially last year. Poole had a stretch without Curry last season where he averaged 26 points a game, nearly 6 assists and 5 rebounds, shooting 43% from the field, 38% from 3 on 11 attempts, and 94% at the free throw line. He's proven to be more than just a Curry gravity merchant. He can create his own shot off the dribble, can play off the ball as well. The only real knock for Poole that he's going to have to work on if he wants to reach that next level as a player is his defense. Because let's be honest, if Poole was at least an average or above average defender, he would probably be in the starting lineup, but of course he isn't. And because he is so suspect on defense, that's why he struggled a lot in the playoffs to get consistent minutes. But you want to know one guy that didn't struggle in the playoffs? Big Loon Kevon himself. We all know what the deal is when it comes to Kevon Looney. He has the basic big man responsibilities. Like I said earlier, for what Wiseman gotta do, Looney is already doing it. Defend the rim, catch lobs, set screens, roll to the basket, get boards, and that's really it. It's just that simple. Looney knows his role and he sticks to it and does it very well. I'm glad that they were able to bring him back, because the loss of Gary Payton Jr., that was a tough one, but thankfully they were able to bring back Looney because they couldn't afford to lose them both, I ain't gonna lie. But while we're on the topic of guys that showed up and showed out in the playoffs, that brings me to Andrew Wiggins. Now, I have had a very controversial stance on Wiggins throughout my entire tenure on YouTube. I have called him a bust in the past, and I've talked about how he was a little overrated last year, but even though I stand on a lot of things I said in the past, let's just leave that in the past for this video. Wiggins is still a very productive player, and I've never denied that. Defensively, he has improved so much from his time in Minnesota, mainly just due to effort, and of course it helps when you're playing with arguably the greatest defender of this generation alongside you in the front court. But aside from his great one-on-one defense where he was locking up guys like Jason Tatum last year in the finals, offensively he has proven to be a very nice player in this system. He's a capable off-ball player, whether it's slashing to the basket, catching lobs at times, or just spotting up from the corners or top of the key or wherever he is at the three-point line, because he can pull up from behind the arc as well. Of course, Wiggins' defense is a big part of this team, but his offensive versatility goes so overlooked in my opinion. He has the ability to attack the rim, he can pull up from the mid-range, he can shoot the three ball on and off the ball, he can create his own shot, he can cut to the basket off the ball, he can catch lobs. There really isn't anything he can't do offensively outside of obviously being a great playmaker. But don't worry about playmaking Wiggins, because you got guys in the Warriors big three themselves that can do it for you in this entire team, which brings me to them: Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. When you talk about a historic trio, this is it. This is one of the most historic trios in NBA history. These guys alone have changed basketball for the better in my opinion. Let's start off with the force down low himself, Draymond. Draymond Green, man, when you talk about crazy situations over the last couple of weeks, he epitomizes drama more than anybody on this roster. Even though Draymond has his issues off the court, like sucker punching Jordan Poole in the face, on the court he is still one of the most impactful players in the NBA, primarily on the defensive side of the ball. Draymond's ability to switch on multiple positions while blowing up the opposing team's offensive actions, and also being one of the greatest help defenders of all time, presents really a cheat code kind of player on the defensive side of the ball, especially for this Warriors team. Now, I know offensively he's been slacking over the last couple of years. Ever since that 2017 year, he's just been going downhill since. That jump shot looks so disgusting, it is insane, and the fact that he doesn't even have confidence to take some layups now is crazy. But hey, even though Draymond's offense has been suspect, that's what you got the Splash Brothers for, Klay Thompson and Steph. And when you combine their shooting with his high IQ as a passer and decision maker, it creates some of the best offense you will ever see in your lifetime. And while we're talking about the Splash Brothers, let's talk about the first one, Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, everybody's favorite Golden State Warrior. I'm real happy for Klay Thompson, because after the adversity he's gone through over the last couple of years, to see him get that championship and contribute to it in the way that he did, it was a nice breath of fresh air for the league. Klay Thompson has proven to be a rhythm kind of player. Whenever he's hot, he truly is hot, and at the end of the season he caught on fire for the Warriors in the last 15 games, averaging 24 points a game while shooting 43% from the field, 38% from 3 on 11 attempts, and 83% at the free throw line. The one thing about Klay that I'll say regressed this past season was his defense, which isn't really that big of a deal to me. They still have Draymond, they have Wiggins now, and with him having his legs up under him, playing a full playoffs and some of the regular season last year, I expect him to play a lot better. I think the Klay that we saw in the second half of the regular season last year is going to be the Klay that we see as as soon as night 1 today on tip-off. And remember that little slump Steph Curry had last year? Yeah, I wouldn't bank on that happening again with Klay Thompson in his backcourt, which leads me into the man, the myth, the legend himself, Steph Curry. I mean, you talk about legacy defining moments, that's what Steph Curry has every single time he touches the court damn near, because he's breaking the three-point record every time, and on top of that, now he's added a finals MVP to his resume. Living legend for real, a living legend. I don't gotta talk about his skill set because we all know what Curry brings to the table as the greatest shooter of all time. But I want to say this as far as Steph Curry leading this Golden State Warriors team. This team has more than enough to obviously compete in the Western Conference and potentially win a championship. I mean, I wouldn't have them at number 2 on my rankings if I didn't think so. Now, some people may think I'm disrespecting them as the champions, not having them as number 1, but I'll explain that when I get to the Bucks at my number 1 selection. It's not like I don't think the Warriors are as good as the Bucks or any other team in the NBA, because I actually do think they are on the same tier. In the case of the Warriors, they have proven time in and time out that you'd never ever doubt them. In a season where Curry went through a whole slump, Klay Thompson missed the majority of the year, and Draymond Green had a back injury that kept him out essentially half the season, they still managed to finish off the year winning 53 games, being 3rd in the Western Conference, being a top 3 defense in the NBA, and then managing to win the championship. If this team has proven anything, it's that they can overcome adversity no matter what it is and rally themselves towards a championship. That's why this Jordan Poole and Draymond Green fiasco, I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as many people are making it seem. If anybody can galvanize and recover from something like that, it's the Golden State Warriors, and we all know Poole is locked in now, so we know he ain't going nowhere. But hey, those are just my thoughts on the Golden State Warriors. If you disagree, let me know down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You guys stay safe and have a blessed day. I'm out. Peace.